Glyn's Get Back album was on the drawing board right through 1969, but never came out. The format of it was rough and ready, deliberately so since Glyn liked that approach and wanted to retain the sense of live performance from the sessions. The trouble was, several of the tracks were ragged to the point of being no use. From Teddy Boy, which was little more than a loose rehearsal, to I've Got a Feeling, which broke down before the end. So how and why did Glyn select those particular performances for the LP? The usual supposition is that he worked through the January tapes and pulled out recordings he most liked. But it turns out that's not at all how it happened. To find the answer, we need to delve back into the January Nagra recordings, the hours of audio tape picked up by the film crew, and we learn of a hitherto unknown sequence of events which explains the anatomy of his Get Back LP. While the sessions were ongoing, Glyn 3 times left Apple after work with a pile of studio tapes and headed over to Olympic Studio in South London. There, during the night, he prepared mixes of the best of those days' recordings, compiling them to fresh reels of tape, which he could take back to the group the next day. On 24th, 26th and 27th of January, he did just that, and when he played the tapes back at Apple, the Nagra recorders captured the Beatles talking about these mixes, and their enthusiasm is obvious. Let's hear a snippet of their reaction to Glyn's mixes.
2 of us going?
2 of us, yeah.
That's great. They're all great.
Well,
really.
no, I'd forgotten all about it, so that's 4 we've got.
No, well, there's 5 on the
pretty
double. See,
well.
Teddy.
Morning,
Teddy
Billy.
Boy.
Yes, but
Oh,
It's-
Teddy's nice.
Teddy Boy.
Teddy's great for the
I just
album.
noticed
Really
all
love it.
those things
Yeah,
going on
it's
there.
beautiful.
It's just that's what I mean about
Well, I
that
mean, we
dub,
only
you know.
learned it.
Yeah, but
We
that
were
was
only
the first-
learning.
yeah, that was the
That's
place,
the
isn't
great
it?
thing about
But
it.
those
It's the
things
one thing-
sometimes come out very well because they're
Yeah.
fresh. and
But
they
it's just
happen.
busking. All
It
the
Yeah,
really
but
way.
it's
is.
good because of it.
Yeah, that's it. You know,
Yeah.
it's just, and then it's just great.
And when you listen to it,
Grab your pad.
Oh, yeah,
Don't
that's too
you?
much. Yeah.
When you've got it,
let it
somebody
go.
says, jump up. When you've got it, let it go.
Yeah.
Well, that stereo dub we've got, as it is one side of an album. As it is, with all the tunes, right? Mate, that's it.
And just, I can't get up trying to get too loud. Not bad, though. Not bad.
The Beatles repeatedly raved about the tapes Glyn had made, and he will have taken this as approval of those mixes for possible release. So at the end of January, right after the rooftop concert, he went back to Olympic Studios and compiled a prototype LP mix from his 3 mix reels. This was pressed to disc and became known as the Electra acetate. It was full of the recordings the Beatles had so admired, including Teddy Boy and the cocked it up version of I've Got a Feeling. So when it came to making up the Get Back album later in the year, he did not go back to the original tapes and did not select his best versions. Instead, he worked with what he already had, seemingly with the agreement of the Beatles themselves. His proposed Get Back LP contained 10 proper tracks, and 8 of them were pulled straight from the Electra acetate. That's why Get Back turned out the way it did, and that's why it was ultimately redone by Phil Spector. The rough and ready approach in the end turned out to be not what the group really wanted. The Beatles' own enthusiasm for these takes proved to be the downfall of Get Back. This and many other interesting discoveries were made during research for my new book, Let It Be, The Making of the Beatles' Final Album, Book 2, The Apple Sessions and Beyond. You can find it on Amazon. In writing it, I have examined the 100 hours of Get Back tapes in full, in unprecedented detail, and you'll be amazed at some of the things which have emerged.